Hello. Today we're going to be covering how to be a great connector when it comes to networking and just working within our business. The biggest purpose behind this whole thing is just understanding the power of give first networking and what that really means and how that can equate to results for others as well as huge results for yourself. Where a lot of this comes from as well is if a lot of you think in business, if you look back to the times where you've gotten massive results, if you think about the times you've actually given back to someone else and really put out basically intentions to help others, it usually comes back to you times 10. And if you think back to all those scenarios in your life where it's like, you know what, I really put myself out there to work with others and help others, all of a sudden a huge bond and trust was built, and usually things come back to you times 10. It may not be directly, but indirectly stuff kind of tends to come back to you in your business. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So my number one goal is to help everyone realize the power of give first networking, and then we all just become great connectors. It's a very simple idea, but it's a little different than becoming a great networker. A great connector is something that's slightly more about giving back and seeing what comes as a result. So let's jump into it. So the first thing is I'll give you just a story. I mean, one of the biggest things I can think of is times in my life where I really just thought outside of the box and really asked myself, how can I help the people around me? I used to be obviously in franchising, and I used to go out and recruit. And while recruiting, I met two fellows that would have been rockin' franchisees, and I remember my mind right away being like, how can I get these guys into a franchise? But they weren't really interested in it. And I couldn't tell exactly why they were speaking with me in the first place. But I stopped myself for a little bit and stopped doing the sales of the franchise and started to just really listen to them and think to myself, well, how can I help these guys? Like, what are they really here for? And it turns out they're app developers, and they had a rockin' application for what our franchise company could potentially use. And they wanted to basically present that and get it kind of involved with all of our franchises all over North America. And so we took it quite far. We actually met with the CEO of the company, got them a meeting, and basically sat down over the next couple of months, really looked at the possibilities of bringing this as, basically the CRM for our company, a new platform, which we desperately needed. And it was very interesting when I realized how much action we had taken. We'd flown across the country together, all these different things, just from sitting down at a booth with them. And instead of trying to run or sell them a franchise, just listening, being like, you know what do you guys actually need? And be getting out there to help them. Now, as a result of that, they became really good contacts and connections for me. And down the road over the past couple of years, I found myself contacting them and working with them in any way possible to be able to help them in their app development company, as well as when I need just tech assistance and anything that I need. Now, it's very interesting. Had I not sat back and really asked myself, how can I help these people and give to them something that maybe I have access to, I probably never would have seen them again, never would have heard from them again. They would have just disappeared in the abyss of people in the world. But because I thought about how I can help these people, for the rest of my life, they will be people that I will always rely on and look at when it comes to getting assistance. And if you look at times in your life where that's happened, think about the people that you trust the most. It's usually people that stepped out to help you first. And those are the people you will consistently want to work with. And I'll give you another story. I met a fellow who does banking, and he's a business banker. And a lot of people out there are business bankers, or there's a lot of those types of roles. And it's hard for him to differentiate himself from someone else. And one of the first things he did for me is he actually referred to me some members for our Best Mindset group. And right away I started to realize, you know what, this guy's actually pretty wicked guy to work with, really open, really easy to talk to, and really interested in our program. And really didn't expect much in return other than the fact that I just want to help you because I believe in your program. I thought that's really cool. A couple days later, by chance, one of my franchisees, or my people in my system, asked me if I know a good business banker. And lo and behold, look who I referred, the guy from BMO. So it was very interesting when you look at these relationships and how you work with people. If you're always trying to take, you'll burn bridges and you will always be doing just one-time deals with people. But if you're really thinking about how can I give first, that is what makes a great connector. So to answer the first question, if you look on the screen here, what makes a great connector? I really firmly believe it's people who listen, who really think dynamically how they can connect others and how they can really help others. If you're constantly asking that question, how can I help, you're going to get way different responses and way different just realities for yourself versus how can I take? Because I do believe people who take first often, sure, they get the sale or they get what they want, but they get it once. People who give first get it times 10. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So to really illustrate this concept and this understanding of give first networking, this whole video is going to be based around something called the beehive game. This isn't something I invented. This is something that's been out there for quite a while, but it's very powerful when people can exercise this and do this and see the results that actually happen. I know in our Best Mindset session, we did it about twice in one day, and we generated over 215 leads within about 60 people. And that happened within about an hour. So it's very interesting the amount of power that this game can actually have and how it really illustrates give first networking and the power that can have. So I'm going to go through this video exercise with you, but my whole intention is that you take this exercise, the Beehive game, and you bring it to other industries and other people and other networking groups and maybe with your employees or other parts of your company and use this and see the results for yourself of what can happen. All right, so let's jump into this. So the Beehive game. So the Beehive game is all about give first networking, and it's all about working as a team to achieve a common result. And so what you want to do is you want to get your group of people or whoever you're working with into groups of 5. 4 or 5 is fine. And these become hives. So you have them basically sitting around a circle with each other. These are all your hives. Each hive will have a queen. So one person is designated as a queen. Could be guy or girl, doesn't really matter. But that queen ultimately will be sending out their workers or their runners, everyone else in the group, to go and get them leads. So what that queen does is they describe for about 30 seconds what their business is and what they need basically in their businesses, whether it's leads or a connection or a certain amount of employees or what they need in the next little while. Everyone else in the hive listens, they write down notes, and they ask questions to make sure they got a really clear idea of what that person really needs. Clarity is the key on this one. And then every other person in the hive sees how they can help them basically by getting them leads. So usually if you have 5 people, you'll have 3 of them kind of stay seated and they'll reflect on their own database, their phone, their Facebook, anything they have that's a list of people that they can look through and see, you know, where's someone that I know that could help this person or could basically be a lead for this person. Or they look for connectors. Who on my phone list could be someone that could connect them to great people as well. On top of that, you'll have 1 or 2 people that will be runners. And what those runners will do is they'll go to all the other hives in the group or in the building that you're doing the exercise in, and they're going to ask them, you know, do you know anyone who needs this or has this in their business that we can connect our queen with? What the intention is for all the runners is to go out and get as many leads for their queen as possible within a 5-minute period. So basically in that 5-minute period, that queen sent her runners out to go and get her leads. So she's not getting leads for him or herself, the runners are, and the runners are seeing how many leads they can get for the queen. After that 5 minutes kind of goes through, everyone kind of sits back down with their hive, recaps on how things went, and then we switch to the next person. And the next person in the group becomes the queen, until all 5 people have had a chance to become the queen. Once you've done that, what you'll notice is that that hive has become very close to one another. They've learned how to work with each other, they've learned how to refer each other and actually help each other before they help themselves. But as a result, every single person in that hive is going to have connections and networks to work with that aren't basically theirs to begin with. Because everybody gave first and asked later. But everyone still had a chance to receive in the end. And that's how we generated all those leads. We had these hives go out and help each other and network with each other, and within about 45 minutes, pretty well everyone in the group had at least 1 to even 20 leads. The biggest thing that this program or this Beehive really does for people is it helps them see what the power of that give first networking is. And it helps them identify too what are some of the common things that go really well when you're having others network for you and things you have to work on. Things like clarity. I noticed some of the groups would go out and the queen would tell them what they need, and the runners would go out and ask for what they need, but it wasn't very clear. The message wasn't clear. You know, I'm a realtor, I need this. But the this wasn't very clear and people couldn't tell, like, I don't know how to help that person. If you have extreme clarity and you have other people really excited to work for you and really refer you, you'd be amazed at what can happen in a very short period of time. And that's it. So that's give first networking. I highly encourage you, the goal for this video, I want you to go out and repeat this Beehive game with any groups or networking groups or even within your own company and see what happens. And see what happens to the attitude of others who think networking is all about taking first. See how much they realize the power of give first networking. Other than that, I'll see you at your next best mindset session.